What is going on, everybody out there? YouTuberinos, Lamont at large. Today we're in Las Vegas, Nevada. Briefly going to talk about the Las Vegas Hilton fire of 1981. 8 people died here, all because of a lunatic who just got a job here and felt the need to start a fire. Sad, sad story. Without further ado, this will be a quick one. This place now is the Westgate Hotel, Casino, and Timeshare. And of course, the man, the legend himself, Barry Manilow, well, he is the performer at this property. He is the residential performer of this property. But before it was the Westgate, it was known as the Las Vegas Hotel and Casino. It was only known for that for a couple years. Before that, it was the Las Vegas Hilton Hotel. But originally, when it was built, it was not the Las Vegas Hilton Hotel and Casino. It was the International. And it was built and it opened on July 2nd, 1969. It was built by Kirk Kerkorian, who was a major player here in Las Vegas. I believe at one time or another, he owned the most shares of MGM Mirage, making him, I guess, the de facto owner of the joint. I'm not really sure how that works. I'm not a Wall Street guy. One day I will be, hopefully. You never know. Now, before it was the International, believe it or not, this place was a horse racing track. Did not know that. I bet you did not. So in 1945, 1946, this East Coast guy named Joseph Smoot. So he comes out here and convinces 8,000 shareholders of this company that he is some world-renowned horse track builder, right? However, we didn't have the internet back then, so a guy with the gift of gab, a smooth talker, they can come into town and convince you to give them your pants and just leave. So he tells them, he said, hey, I've built tracks all over the world. Trust me, believe me, I got 5 tracks in the East Coast. I got 2 in Florida. I got 1 that is in the works in Los Angeles. I'm Mr. Santa Anita over here. So I need $2 million so I could turn this place into a world-renowned racetrack. And I actually have a very, very good name. See, I'm a clever guy. I'm gonna call it the Jockey Club. Huh? You like that? The Jockey Club. So he gets the $2 million and the racetrack doesn't seem to be getting built. And the reason why it's not getting built is because, well, this guy, he's never built any kind of a racetrack ever in his life. He doesn't know anything about tracks. He couldn't even build a Hot Wheels racing track if he even dared to. By the way, very, very difficult. But as a 5-year-old boy, I conquered the task. So you got about a couple years later, nothing's getting done, and something's up. So they want their money back. However, $500,000 of the $2 million is unaccounted for. So he is quickly indicted on whatever charges they came up with at the time, embezzlement, theft, what have you. And before they got the chance to take him to trial, conveniently enough, Mr. Smoot was found dead in a hotel room. So $500,000 he took to his grave. What did he spend it on? Who knows? So the history of the racetrack is as follows. Well, there's not a lot of history because it was a complete and utter disaster. Now, it eventually did finish construction, but it had a terrible opening day. Well, opening few weeks. Number one, it took an hour for people wanting to go to the track to wait in line, pull into the parking lot, find a parking space, just to get in line to buy tickets. Here's another problem. There's not enough ticket booths. Who's going to open up this racetrack in Las Vegas with gambling on horses, and people are standing an hour and a half in the July 105-degree heat watching ponies race and they don't have enough freaking ticket booths. Ridiculous. Parking lot, terrible design, not enough parking spaces. It was just a complete and utter disaster. So they ended up closing the racetrack for about 3 weeks so they can redo the parking lot and I don't know, get some more ticket booths so people can go in and spend their money. Now, the racetrack eventually was closed down and demolished in 1959. They tried to get people to come to the track by putting on some kind of racing events. I think NASCAR might have put on 1 or 2 events or what have you, but ultimately 1959, it's demolished, it's shut down. So Kurt Kerkorian 10 years later would come because he had a vision for Paradise Road right here. He said, you know what, I want 3000 Paradise Road to be the second strip. I want it to be the second strip. I never really got off in terms of my personal opinion. Never became the second strip. But as you can see, it's still up. It's still standing tall, and it does get a lot of people that stay here at this hotel. So Kurt Kerkorian would only be the owner of the International Hotel for about 2 years. He had to sell it in 1971. He needed quick cash because he had some kind of a fledgling airline or whatever. I'm not really sure that's the reason why he sold his hotel, but he needed some cash. He had to sell it. And the Hilton Corporation, they bought it and they renamed it the Las Vegas Hilton. And later on, they would add the second tower to your left right there. And from 1985 to 1991, this was the biggest hotel in the entire world, believe it or not. It's so funny to say that, and you look at it and it's not that big, but yeah, that is true. And it has just a little bit under 3,000 rooms. And you can see up top over there, that is where Elvis Presley, who had his private penthouse, his home away from home, that is where he lived. Now, of course, if you open up a grandiose hotel and casino such as the Las Vegas Hilton Hotel, well, you gotta have somebody performing here, because all the people on the strip over there, they're not really gonna want to come over here unless there's somebody here to attract them. So for the opening of the hotel, they hired 2 celebrities, Barbra Streisand and Elvis Presley. Now, Barbra Streisand, I guess she was only tasked with opening it, and she only played here for maybe a few weeks. But Elvis Presley, from what I remember, maybe I was watching something like years ago, I was falling asleep, that I don't think he had a contract. I think he just kind of performed. It was kind of like a handshake deal. And from 1971 to December 12, 1976, that was his last time that he performed here. He played about 636 shows, all sold out in a row. Now, you could ask whoever that has an opinion about why Elvis only played here 5 years. Listen, how long did you want Elvis to perform here? You're doing the same show, the same act over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And that's kind of why, I don't go to cemeteries over and over and over and over and over, because I kind of get tired of it. I like doing videos like this, just kind of, switch it up a little bit. So, performing to a 2,000 seat showroom for 636 consecutive sold out shows, you're probably going to get a little bit bored. And I'm not really sure, because the numbers are kind of different in the story, but they said that he got paid about $100,000 to $125,000 a week to perform at this show. We're going to do a video in the future about Elvis Presley. It's going to be the dark side of Elvis Presley, because believe me, there is a dark side to Elvis Presley. So after his final show, then it would get whoever Yahoos to perform here. The last Yahoo, of course, the current Yahoo is Barry Manilow, who plays in the same theater that Elvis Presley performed at. So we're gonna fast forward to the story, to the dark side of the Las Vegas, what used to be the Las Vegas Hilton Hotel. We're gonna talk about what happened that night that a fire erupted out of here, claiming 8 people's lives. So we're gonna go back to February 10th, 1981. It's around 8 p.m. at night, and Clark County firefighters, they receive a call that there is a fire here at the Las Vegas Hilton. So the firefighters, they come racing down Paradise Road. They pull up here to the front, and what they see is a bunch of black smoke coming up. They don't know it at the time. It's coming from the 8th floor. That's where it had started. Well, actually, we'll get to that a little bit later. So from the 8th floor, there's flames and smoke going up to the 22nd floor. And hundreds and hundreds of people were trapped in their hotel rooms, and one of them being a celebrity by the name of Natalie Cole. So by the time they were able to knock out the fire, 8 people, they sadly lost their lives in this terrible, terrible tragedy. It was one Dennis McFarland from Iowa, Frank Greenfield from Michigan, Robert Leach from Hawaii, Harry and Lorraine Gaines from California, Jack Turnsky from Alaska, Zeno Santos Carvalho from Brazil, and Bruce Glenn from Minnesota. These are all the people that died here on February 10th, 1981. Now, as the arson investigators find out that people have actually died in this fire, now there's arson investigators, there are also homicide investigators. And there was a young man by the name of Philip Bruce Klein, 23 years of age, who was a busboy here at the time. He was heralded as a hero because he was helping evacuate people from their rooms. This guy is a hero. So the investigators, they want to talk to him. So they're telling him, hey, so what happened? When did you notice the fire? Blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. He said he's on the 8th floor, and the drapes all of a sudden caught on fire, and he had grabbed a bucket of fire to put it out. And after he helped try to put it out, it got even worse. So he started evacuating the people. And then the guy says, a bucket of fire? You meant a bucket of water, right? So as he's talking, the investigator says, why did this guy say a bucket of fire? If you're retelling a story like that, you're just going to say a bucket of water. So they eventually took him down to headquarters, and they gave him a polygraph test. And for the next 4 or 5 hours, they grilled him about what really happened. So slowly but surely he broke down, and basically what had happened was, see, man, you know, I was smoking reefer with my friend, right? Man, we were just smoking a joint, and I held the joint down, and I accidentally lit the drapes on fire, man. Now, this guy had only worked here for 2 days. So the investigators, as they're talking to him, the arson people, they're at the hotel, and when they're sifting through all of the burnt areas of the hotel, they're seeing that there's several different starting points of the fire. So Philip is telling them that the fire started on the 8th floor, but it also started on several other floors. They counted 4 different areas where somebody had started the fire. And they had also came by and tried to use a cigarette to light the drapes to try to recreate the act of it accidentally being lit on fire. But they just couldn't get those drapes to light with that cigarette the way Philip was able to for some unknown reason. Now, surprisingly enough, or not surprisingly enough, they weren't able to find that mysterious friend that Philip had shared that joint with on that night. But they did find one of his friends who had talked to investigators, and he said that he had either sold or given Philip a joint with marijuana and angel dust mixed together. So I don't know if this guy was on some kind of a dope head trip or whatever, or he was trying to be a hero, so he wanted to start a fire to make himself feel important, but 8 people were dead because of him. So he was charged with the arson at the hotel along with 8 counts of first-degree murder. And he would later be found guilty, and he was sentenced to 8 consecutive life terms in state prison. So this is him right now. He's currently cooling his heels up in prison. I I think he's at the South Desert facility or High Desert. He's not very far from here right now. So he was 23 years old when this happened. So that would make him, 67, 68 years old now. And no rhyme or reason why this guy did it. It's just a punk. Just a punk, a weirdo, and a thug as far as I'm concerned. So anyways, rest in peace to all those that lost their lives at this hotel. Okay guys, I am out of here. Hope that was as quick for you as that was for me. Hope you learned something. I'm always showing you guys the locations of where disasters happen and such as that. I'll see you at the next disaster site in Las Vegas. Peace out.